Alright, well, now I'm going to start the process on getting my front end paint matched. So, before I take the front bumper off, I'm just going to start sanding it while it's on the truck with my orbital sander, just so I have something to hold it a lot better. So, I'm going to start doing that now. Alright, so there's what an up close looks like of the 40 grit. Now I'm going to go up to 60. So, here we go. Okay, I just finished sanding this cap, at least the front of the cap, with 40, 60, 120, 180, and 240 grit sandpaper. And let me get a little closer. You can see I've got it pretty much sanded down to where it's soft, or smooth at least. Now we're going to go ahead and take the grille and front bumper off so I can split that top piece off from the bottom gray piece and start painting. So what you're going to do first is take this radiator access cover off. You've got all these little pins in here. Take all those out, then we'll pop the grille out. Okay, once you get those pins out, this should just pop right off. Now you can set this aside. And next, I'm going to be popping out the pins for the grille. So, there's one here, one down there, another behind the chrome piece, and then the same on the other side. There, there, and there. And they're just these little pins that you squeeze and then pop it out. Okay, so now that we got the grille off, we've got to take this bumper off. So, alright, so underneath, you're going to want to unplug your fog light harnesses, if equipped. And then, underneath, the lighting might be bad here. I'm going to want to take out these two bolts here, and then loosen that one up there on both sides. And so those are 15 mil, I believe. So do that to both sides. And then in here, that bolt right there needs to come out. And then there's another right there. So two here, two there, and then two on each corner. And then loosen the two on each side. Alright, so if I did this right, then the bumper should be free. So I'm going to try to lift this off by myself, so we'll see how that goes. So here's the bumper. That was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be to get that off. There's the truck. So, just to get a close-up, there's 2 bolts there. Same on the other side. And then you got these brackets here. And the reason we had to loosen that is because it hooks behind right there. So if you try to pull it off, it won't allow you to. So you got to loosen that so they swing down. But yeah, so this is it. Now I just got to figure out how to separate these different pieces from the chrome so that I can get them painted. Alright, I got the bumper flipped on its side. This is face up, that's the top. And in here are all the clips to separate the chrome piece from this black plastic cap. So I'm just going to pop all these out. Alright, now that I got all those clips out, this black cap just popped right off from the bumper. So, okay, going from the left to the right, we have self-etching primer. That's what adheres to your metal or plastic. Second from the left, you've got your regular primer. That's what bonds to your base coat. Right there, I've got my Duplicolor paint match. Then on the far right, we'll finish up with some clear coat. Okay, now that we wiped it down, the alcohol is dry. Make sure to get your PPE, personal protective equipment, mask, eyeglasses, gloves. I've already shaken up the self-etching primer. Let's go ahead and put the first layer on. I just got a light coat on the first layer there, simply because I want it to go on evenly and I do not want any dripping. So we'll wait for this to dry and we'll put on another layer. Okay, I just finished with the self-etching primer. I went through a whole can just for this bumper. I got 3 light coats on. You can see I still have little particles there. I'm hoping I can sand those off and fill those with the primer filler. But overall, it looks pretty darn good. It's this army green. You can see I got a few marks from sanding in there, but overall I got it pretty smooth. So I'll let this dry overnight. Okay, so now I'm going to wet sand. I've got 600 grit sandpaper here. Got a bucket of water down at the bottom of the table, and I'm going to show you how to smooth this up. Okay, so I just want to show you the difference between before and after wet sanding. So over here you can see it's still kind of rough. You can see some fibers right there. Now I'm going to move over here to where I just wet sanded. You can see it's all soft.
See
there's the layer of primer. Now I'm going to start wet sanding again. Okay, here's the primer after I sanded it, wet sanded it with 600 grit sandpaper and water. Now I'm going to go put the first layer base coat down. I now have base coat on the whole bumper. I've got 3 light layers. So now I'm going to go ahead and put the clear coat on. Okay, so I just finished clear coating it. I got about 3 thin layers on it. And I'm just about ready to wax it a little bit. Actually, before that, use a little compound. I've got the factory grille sitting right here in front of it just to kind of show the difference in color. Which, it matches pretty darn good for being just the cheap Duplo-Color. But anyways, let me get this polished up. Okay, so now you can see I've separated the chrome bumper from the lower plastic bumper. And all that's holding it together are these bunch of these pins. You can see they fit into those square holes. They're all the way along. So here's what the pins look like. I just used a screwdriver, popped that top piece out, and then the bottom piece you have to squeeze and push through. So I have these needle nose vice grips. I found that I just set that to the perfect bite to where it'll squeeze them enough. Then I would just use the hammer and tap it out. And they're all staying in here. So now I'm going to get this part painted. Okay, these brackets here bolt the chrome bumper to the frame, and I just took them off so I could repaint them. Here you can see this one's already been painted in gloss black. I've taken the bolts out and left them in the order, same way that they go in, just so there's no issues rebolting this thing back up. But this is the way I'm painting them. Just got this tall A-frame ladder out and hooked them to these bungee cords so that I can walk around and knock a couple of these things out. Alright, here's the inside of the chrome bumper. I just painted it with some rust reformer type stuff because it was really rusty. You can kind of see it's textured there from the rust. But I got that all coated. I left the outside chrome. Still need to take the tape off. But I also painted the brackets gloss black, as you know. So here is the finished product of those. And next I just need to put everything back together. Okay, it's upside down here, but I got this top cap on as well. But man, what a brute getting that thing on there. You have to stretch it and everything, because it's only held on by pins. So I found it easiest to grab a rubber mallet and put a microfiber cloth over it and gently tap all the way along until all those pins are in. And that took a while, but It looks good now.